What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Special guest in the building. Needs no introduction at all. If you don't know who he is by now, where have you been hiding? Robbie in the building. What's happening, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I like that intro there with your goals.
Yeah. Cut off, man. I don't know what was going on.
Quality, man. We need that finishing right now.
I know. I mean, it's been a long 2 weeks, hasn't it, man, since the Aston Villa game. Everyone, I think it was worse for Arteta that we lost, and then we've had to just sit on it for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's the worst thing. When you have a defeat going into an international break, you basically got 2 weeks to run the rule over the defeat. Now, the defeat was that bad as well, right? It's just given like 2 weeks for everyone to just spend, and then remembering we've been in lockdown as well. That makes it even worse.
Yeah.
So it's just been really a long time, man. I'm just glad that football, real football is back.
Yeah. So obviously, Mikel Arteta. I mean, we've had a discussion before on AFTV about it, but it's nice to hear your opinion because you're usually the one asking the questions. What have you made of Arteta overall since he's been at the club?
I think he's been good. Overall, you're asking the question overall. I think overall he's been good because, he came in at a really rough time for Arsenal. Let's be real. Let's just rewind back to when he came in. The club was in an absolute mess. It'd been taken, Unai Emery had a really, really rough time towards the end of his tenure. And then Freddie Ljungberg took it up. And normally, sometimes you might even see a bit of a bounce with, like an Arsenal legend. You saw it at, say, Everton, for instance, when Duncan Ferguson took over. But we had no bounce at all. It was like almost worse under Ljungberg. You know what I mean? And so you knew that there was some serious problems at the club. And then Arteta come in and, had a couple of tough games to start off with when he first came in. But you could already see a few little signs. And then he steadied it going into the new year. If people remember, we were on a very good run. We was unbeaten right up until when the whole COVID thing came in. When actually he ended up being like one of the first high-profile people in football to catch COVID. And then we had the break. And then we come back after the break. We had that bad defeat against City and Brighton. But then we picked it up, went on and won the FA Cup against all the odds, remember. Nobody fancied us. We had a semi-final of Man City, final of Chelsea. Absolutely nobody fancied us. We won both of those games. We won the Community Shield. And I think it's been very positive. Now, the start of this season has been very indifferent. I know that, and I know a lot of people have been very, complaining about the performances and team selection, me included. But I still think overall he's done a good job. I mean, in his first season, he won a trophy, right?
Yeah.
And you've got managers that have been in positions for years that people are bigging up that haven't won nothing, and he's won a trophy. Yeah, and he's won a trophy almost straight away. So I think I understand why people are getting upset, but you've got to give a guy a chance, in my opinion. I mean, and to some of the stuff I've heard over the past couple of weeks that he should go and things like that. And listen, don't get me wrong, I always respect people's opinions, but I think that's way past the mark. It's a bit of an unusual season as well.
Yeah,
I think the result that really hurt was that Villa one. I mean, it was a very, very poor, inept performance.
Yeah,
we offered nothing. I mean, if we played it again, we would have lost it, but could even be by more.
Yeah,
and so I understand where people are really upset about that, but I still think they need to chill out a bit because it's still early in his managerial career.
I mean, I know you do the watch-alongs as well, and I've been doing them on here, and some of the games this season, I've been like, oh my God, I can't wait for this game to finish. Like, do you think I feel like at Arsenal now, there's a certain level of entertainment we expect because of what Arsene Wenger's done over the years. Do you think that's part of the reason that Arteta's being criticised a little bit, because the football's been a little bit dull.
Of course, you know, we had Arsene Wenger for 22 years, right? Play, even when we get beat, we play good football. We were always playing, you know, that's the one thing that people used to praise us for. They go, you know, like even my mates would be giving me banter. They'd be like, oh, you know, you lot are soft, or we can beat. But one thing nobody could question was that Arsenal's style of football was brilliant.
Yeah.
Right. So now we've gone to, you know, a manager that likes to be very tactical. And in some games, you know, you have to be real. You know, the style of football has been quite boring. You know? I mean, in comparison to what we normally, you know, we're used to seeing great goals. And I mean, there have been a few great goals, passing moves out from the back and stuff like that. Yeah. I personally think that he's sort of remit what he's said to himself is, first thing I'm going to do with Arsenal is make them hard to be beaten, which people laugh at because we've lost 4 games, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think he's like, I need to strengthen up this defense. I need to strengthen up the midfield. And if you look at last season, when Emery was in charge, when Ljungberg was in charge, it weren't just the defense; it was the midfield. Teams would just waltz through that midfield, right, and they'd be on us, right, and it was very, very, very poor to see. We were way, way, way too open. Now I haven't seen that apart from the Villa game. That was the only game where like it just brought back everything, all the old. Yeah, I saw. But apart from that, even in defeats in games, we haven't seen that. It's been quite a solid, you know, defense. I mean, I think before the Villa game, we had the best defense in the league. Statistically. So you can see that he's been trying to work on that first. But what's happened is that's been to the detriment of the attack. You know, I mean, you got guys like Aubameyang, like in the last game, no shots. Come on, man, that's ridiculous. You got, you know, he doesn't seem to be able to be finding a place for Pepe, which, you know,
I don't get that one.
Yeah, and you know, and we're not creating enough. And then you've got the whole Ozil thing, stuff like that. You know, at the start of the season, I don't think most people disagreed with Ozil being left out of the team. I thought it was a mistake to completely leave everything. Yeah. But I wouldn't have had him as a starter. But when you're not creating anything, people are going to ask lots of questions. So listen, he's made mistakes. He's definitely made mistakes. He's definitely still trying to find his way, I feel. He doesn't know what his best team is. He doesn't know what his best formation is. He seems to be trying sometimes too many things, in my opinion. I think he needs to get back to basics and keep it a bit more simple. And I really do feel, and this is me, I was saying this last night on my show, that I feel the key to unlocking our attacking play is we've got to find a way to get Pepe into, because I feel that he's a guy that he can unlock things, but he just doesn't seem to be trusted at all. No. And I want to see everything goes down our left-hand side, and teams are just locking it off at the moment. Yeah. We need to go down both sides, you know what I mean? And we need to get Pepe involved. So I listen, as I said, I'm not on a knee-jerk thing yet. No. You know, we know what football's like. If he loses tomorrow, if he loses the next couple games, you know, people be calling for his head. That's football, man. You manage you manage a club like Arsenal. That's what it goes. That goes with the territory, man. I mean, you lose a few games, people are questioning you. So I've got no problem with people questioning him. Yeah. But to say he should be out and stuff like that,
it's a little bit too short. Do you know what? Someone asked me yesterday, he goes, "Oh, are you pro Arteta or not?" And I said, "Do you know what, brother? I'm pro Arsenal. If Arteta's doing well, then I'm in full support. I was there with you when we won the FA Cup. We was going crazy. But when I see Willian up front against Manchester City, or I see Aubameyang on the left touchline putting the ball in with his left foot, I think we're within our right to ask questions. And I think he's lucky that the fans aren't in the stadium, to be honest." And big up Peter with the super chat. "Why is Robbie so pro Arteta? Have a word, Big C." Do you trust the process, Robbie? That's what I want to know.
The thing when people talk about pro, I'm like you. I'm pro Arsenal,
That's
right?
it.
But I'm also pro for giving people a chance, and I just feel that this, why are we getting into this Arteta in, Arteta out thing? You know what I mean? It's 8 games into the season, right? We're 3 points off the top 4. It's a mad season so far. Every team has had some really strange losses, some really weird losses, right? I don't think it's time yet to be talking about pro this and pro that. I just want to see the team performing. I look at the team and I'm like, we could be doing better. And I just feel that he hasn't found his way yet. He hasn't found, as I said, I see what he's been trying to do by making it more solid, but it's to the detriment of the attack. I do feel that when you go away from home, the way we played against Manchester United the other day, I thought that was the right tactics. We won the game, remember, We haven't gone to none of those big 6, right? Up until that game, in years and got a result. And he did that. So there's some, whilst there's some minuses, you can tick some boxes. I mean, there's people, it was only a penalty. We won.
Yeah.
Who cares, right? We won.
It doesn't matter.
The tactics in that game worked, right? So he's ticked a box, gone to one of the big teams and won a game away from home. Ticked a box. Won a trophy in his first season or first half season. Ticked a box. But they're also negatives as well. And I have no problem with people talking about his negatives and having a go at him, because this is what, he knows that. This is Arsenal. Even he said it when he come in. This is one of the biggest football clubs in the world. Whether we are sitting on that standing or not at the moment, we are one of the biggest football clubs in the world. So if you lose games, expect stick. But please, I just feel people just steady a bit, though. You know what I mean? Because they're going a bit overboard, I feel, with some of the. You've got to give a guy a chance. 8 games in. And remember, out of those 8 games, there's been a couple of very difficult games in there as well. Did you expect us at the start of the season to go and beat Man City away? No. Did you expect us to beat Liverpool away? No. The unexpected ones for me were definitely the Leicester at home, because we've got such a great record against them. However, losing to Leicester is no shame, because they are a very good team. And I felt we was a bit unfortunate. It was a bit of a smash and grab in that game. And, one bit of where we switched off, beaten by a very good side. As I said, the one that really hurt me was the Villa one. That hurt me because that one, I'm not dissing Villa. They're a very good team, by the way. People need to check out their team. They've got some good players. But the one thing about them, it's a bit like Leeds tomorrow. Their weakness was their defence. And we never got at that defence. We never once put that defence under any pressure. And we played right into their hands, and we allowed their very best players to have free reign of the Emirates, and we deservedly got beaten by a very, very good team. But we've got to, it's how he responds to that. He's had 2 weeks to stew on it as well. It's how he responds to that. But as I said, people need to just chill a bit, and let's see over the next, because the next few games are very tough.
Very.
Leeds away, Wolves at home, Tottenham away. Very, very tough games. Do
you think? I mean, I hear what you're saying there. I think the problem for me, why I'm a little bit more critical of Arteta, is number one, I'm looking at some of his decisions with man management. We was all excited for Saliba coming back. I think that situation's been handled quite badly. I think Mesut Ozil, leaving him out the squad may have come from above him. And so it's a little bit of a difficult one. But I just think, you spoke about Pepe there as well. When we brought Arteta in, we'd heard these stories about what he'd done with Leroy Sané and Sterling. I thought, Pepe, that'll be right up his street. 24-year-old, lot of talent. And he seems to have just pushed him aside and kind of stuck with Willian. And those are the sorts of things where I've been sort of questioning him. And even Ainsley Maitland-Niles, he's in the England squad, but can't get a kick for us. Do you think he's showing a little bit too much favouritism with certain players?
Again, I still feel it's a bit too early to draw the conclusion, because we've seen this before with other managers where, to start off with, they're using a certain player, but then after that, they bring in that guy, and that guy becomes a fixture. You know what I mean? So it's a bit too early again to say. If we're halfway through the season and Pepe's not getting used, then I see there's something's up, because to me, that's the guy I really want to see start getting more game time. I mean, just like proper game time, like 90 minutes. They'll throw him in. Let's see what he can do. Let's see, just bit part. You know, I don't like that. You know what I mean? We got to get him involved. He has to be involved more. The Saliba one, I'm like you. I mean, it's absolutely mad for me. That, you know, paid so much money. But then the other day I was thinking to myself, I think somebody dropped a comment in one of my videos and he was saying, yeah, but Robbie, this is Arsenal. Why would they be doing this when they've invested so much money in this player? There must be something going on behind the scenes. So I thought to myself, actually, you know, I mean, that's a great point, because Arsenal spend £27 million on a player, and not using, and not be, you know, and be seemingly bringing it in very slowly, and there's obviously something that we're not seeing and we're not privy to. So all right, I'll pass on that one, and I'll see what happens with the Saliba thing, and maybe it is a development thing and that. But the Pepe one and the Ozil one, you know, even though I feel that this decision is way above his head, he's also owned it. He's also said, no, it's down to me. So, you know, and that decision only works out if we're creating stuff. And at the moment, we're not. And I just look on it and say, come on. Ozil on the bench, you know, I know you're not a massive fan of Ozil, but even I think you would agree that Ozil on the bench makes sense. Yeah. I feel, you know, I feel, and I think he's been left out for so long that he'd probably be quite hungry to come on and prove a point. Yeah. I do feel that decision is, that's way above his head, man. I feel that's the people upstairs have said, yo, he ain't playing. You know, I still think it's to do with that pay cut. I really do.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, do you think that Arteta, I mean, he's been in the job a year next month. I know he had a 3 or 4 month break with the lockdown where, you know, he wasn't working with the players, but are you not surprised that he doesn't know his best team now? He doesn't seem to know his best formation.
Yeah, I suppose so. You know, I mean, I think by now he should know what his best team is. But I think there's been, you know, there's new players have come in, you know, because look at the team since he's come in has changed a lot, hasn't it? You know, a lot of the players only came in January of last year. And then we've had players in the summer. So he still doesn't know his best team. But I really would like to see him find a solution. You know what? I think it's particularly when we're playing at home. That's where, to me, I'm like, the other day when we, you know, I wasn't being wise after the event. When we had that Villa game, I looked at the formation. I'm like, yeah, what's this, man?
I remember you saying.
Yeah, why is Villa at home? Why are we playing the same team that we used against Manchester United? I understood that team. I got that team. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, right team, right time. He just literally just went with the same team again at home. I think that's where he should have changed it. And I think maybe he's coming up with too many ideas. I think Bielsa said yesterday, he goes, I've never seen a team play like Arsenal with so many different. I think he must be sitting down to work out how to play against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen so many different formations and this and that. And that's what Arteta's been doing. He's been doing a lot of crazy different formations.
Yeah.
You know, changing this and changing that week in, week out. And is he confusing the players now? And does he now need to just make it a bit more simple and simplify things a bit? And as I said, has to find a way to get, you know, the attacking players involved. They're not involved at the moment. That's the worry.
Yeah, like, do you know what it is with Arteta as well? Do you think that, because you sound like you're very patient with Arteta at the moment, which is good, I suppose, because, you know, we can't have everyone going crazy. Do you think the FA Cup win has bought him some time in your eyes?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, you win the FA Cup, you bring a trophy in after the season that we had. Of course, that brings him, you know, that buys him some time. Of course it does. That buys him favour. Probably if he hadn't won that, we wouldn't be so maybe forgiving as we are at the moment.
Yeah.
But that'll be a distant memory very soon, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now it's the Premier League. His target must be to try and get the team into the top 4, which is not going to be easy, you know, because if you looked at, so I ask fans this, right? And this is why I say be slightly patient and let's wait and see. But at the start of the season, if you looked at every team, would you say, with our personnel at the moment, that we should be in the top 4?
No, I wouldn't.
If you looked at Man City, Liverpool, Man United, even though they started very badly, but you look at their personnel, they shouldn't be where they are.
No.
Right? Chelsea, with all the players that they brought in, right? And then you could throw Tottenham and Leicester into that. That's a difficult, you know, we haven't even mentioned Wolves yet and teams like that. A difficult thing to get into the top 4. Don't just think, yeah, we're the Arsenal. We still got players we need to sign. We still need to buy players. We're still short.
Yeah.
You know, if you match us up against a Man United, as I said, even though they started the season very poorly, when I went onto the Man United channel, I told them before the game that we played, you've got great players, you've got a crap manager.
Yeah.
Match us up against a team like United before at the start of the season. Would you hand on heart say, yes, we will finish above them in the top 4? So he's going to have to get into the top 4. With this team that we currently have, he has to overperform. Let's just remember that for 1 minute. We don't have the team yet, really, in my right. So I want to see Arsenal in a position where not just top 4, that we're challenging for the league. Not necessarily winning it, but challenging for it. And to do that, we need some better players. We know this, you know. I think we need a new right back. I still think we're about 2 players short in midfield. I still feel we could do with another top quality, solid centre half.
Yeah.
I still feel that, you know, we could do with a striker, a different type of striker who wins a lot of things in the air, holds it up.
Yeah.
We're short about 4 or 5 players, in my opinion, at the moment. So I know we're Arsenal, right? And we just, but be real sometimes. Look around. To get in the top 4, he has to overperform. When I hear people just off a whim say top 4 and win the Europa League or you've gone. It's easy to say that, but look at the team that we have. I want him to do that, or I'd like him to achieve at least one of those things, but he's going to have to overperform to do that. He's not doing that at the moment, but he's still in the season. That's how I look on it.
Rob, let me play devil's advocate a little bit here before I read this super chat. So you're saying, you know, this squad on paper, I agree, there's at least 4 teams who are better than us on paper. Yeah. Unai Emery had a worse team than this. Like he had Iwobi and, you know, all them guys were playing. We've now obviously signed Gabriel and Partey and that. He should have got top 4, really. Let's face it, the last 2 weeks of the season, he messed it up. But he would have got top 4 if it wasn't for that. He was then sacked 13 games into the next season, 8th in the Premier League. So why does Arteta sort of get more time when he's actually got a better team than what Unai Emery had? He's got the most expensive front 3 in the Premier League in Pepe, Lacazette, Aubameyang.
Unai Emery had the same front 3, you know?
For them 13 games, because Pepe kept... But he didn't have a full season with Pepe.
Unai Emery, let's not forget, right? Unai Emery should have got in the top 4. We had an easy running to get into that top 4, and he blew it.
Yeah.
He was given another chance, right, to win the Europa League in the final, right? Not only did we lose, you can always lose a final. We know that. We got 4-1 in a final. Humiliated, right? I was there. Right?
Yeah, I remember.
Then we come back and we start the next season and we were performing terribly and the whole thing was falling apart. He was lucky to last as long as he did. Come on, let's be real, right? So I think the Unai Emery comparisons don't stack up. Mikel Arteta won a trophy. He steadied a ship that was like all over the place. I told you, Lundberg come in and it was still all over the place, right? He steadied the ship. right? And he won a trophy at the end of the season, beating Chelsea in the final. And now we started a new season and we're 8 games in.
Yeah.
And at the moment, even though it's not been the greatest of starts, we're 3 points off the top 4. And that's why I say, I mean, by the way, who's sacked a manager so far in this Premier League? No one.
Yeah, no one.
You know, so what's this? Come on, man. People need to be a bit, you know what I mean? As I said, I respect everybody's opinions, right? And I understand where people, and there's a lot of flaws with Arteta at the moment, and there's a lot of, you know, things that I don't like what he's doing that I think are wrong. But I am willing, if you're gonna say, like, what will happen is we'll sign a new manager, and everybody say, "We've got to give him time." He's got, and then he'll lose a game and they want him out. How much time do you give somebody? What is time?
That's a good question. How much time are you giving Arteta before you start to really apply pressure?
This is my thing, yeah. I am real, right? So there's 2 things in this, in giving time. Realistically, for me, he has to have a couple of seasons to get it right. So that's all of this season. Then at the end of the season, has his transfer window, when he'll be able to move on a lot of guys like Ozil, all that, and he'll have his own team. And then that season, I want to see top 4 minimum from him or the chop. However, I am real enough. And if he lost his next 4 games, then I also would feel then it's time for a change. You can't have a big club like Arsenal and say you played 12 games, lost 8. No. So I'm real about it, but got to give a manager, you know, if it's a process, if we're looking to, you know, move on, we've got to give the manager time. You know, we have to give him a realistic amount of time. But obviously, you can't get time after time if you're losing every single week. That's obvious. But if you can't just knee-jerk, remember that Ralph Hasenhüttl at Southampton, he got beat 9-0 at home by Leicester. Remember that? The other losses after that, a lot of Southampton fans were saying, calling for his head. A lot of people in the media were saying, yeah, he's got no chance of staying on. Southampton backed him. Now I think, what they like, about 3rd in the league, right? They've been playing all this season. He seems to have found his system. He seems to, you know what? I know somebody who's sort of involved behind the scenes down there at Southampton. And I remember him saying to me at that time that basically, I can never pronounce his name. He has a system that he wants to play, but he doesn't have the personnel to execute it. He wants, like, he very similar to like Leeds. He likes players that lots of hard-working runners off the ball. He likes pace, and at that time, he didn't have enough of that type of player in the team to execute it. Now he's been able to get a few more of those type of players in. You're starting to see the results from it. So I think sometimes, you know, we've got to have a bit of patience. But I do get it. If you're losing game after game after game as a club like Arsenal, you can see the stadium behind you. This is a big club, man. Then you ain't going to last. It don't matter who you are, whether you're Arteta, whether you're Wenger, whether you're Mourinho, whoever you are. If you lose game after game after game after game, you're going to get sacked. That is how football management works.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think, do you know what? Sometimes I think maybe I'm being harsh, but it's because I look at things like this, Robbie. I look at Ancelotti came to Everton, I think the same week as Arteta. I watch Everton now and I see Ancelotti's team starting to be moulded into the way they're playing. Mourinho came in, I think, 6 weeks or so before Arteta. You know, I feel like they've made progress. You know, they made big signings. I think they signed 5 players in the summer. So I kind of look at it because this season's wide open in the Premier League, even the title and the top 4. And when you look at, say, Chelsea's team that got in the top 4 last year, lost Hazard, had a transfer ban, had to use a lot of inexperienced players. Lampard, who a lot of people say in the comments that Arteta's better than Lampard and Ollie. So I feel like...
I said from last season, I felt Lampard done a good job.
He did do a good job.
He done a very, very good job.
Yeah.
So, you know, Ollie ain't better than Arteta. No chance. And
in Ollie's defence, Ollie could say he got 3rd last season.
He got 3rd. He's supposed to get 3rd with that team.
Yeah.
got a very good. What people serious? Look at United's. They've got a very good side. They've got from top to bottom. They've got a lot of quality players.
Yeah.
He ain't a good manager, man. Seriously, to me, he ain't a good manager. And by the way, he's lost 3 games. Well, he ain't won a game at home this season. That just shows you as well. It's a bit of a, even with it being Ollie, that just shows you it's a bit of a mad season.
Yeah, man.
You know? So, yeah, listen, man. You know, was it? I'm looking at the table.
Go on.
Ancelotti is 1 point above Arteta. 1 point. And Arteta won a trophy. And since Ancelotti's come in, he ain't won nothing.
But we're a far bigger club than Everton, are we? Our demands are different.
Nah, you got to look on it. This is what I'm saying, where people be real for a minute, yeah? Ancelotti has come in. Don't get me wrong, I wanted Ancelotti at Arsenal.
Did you?
Because at first I was saying,
Allegri, you were saying, innit?
Allegri, and then when I saw Ancelotti, I said, yeah, that wouldn't be a bad, you know, because I felt maybe you need someone experience. But Arteta's come in, I think he's done all right. As I said, right? 1 point above Arsenal right now, with everybody's talking. 1 point, right? So if you analyze it, and you could have an Everton channel where the Everton guys could be saying, yeah, well, you look at Arteta, he's a point below, but he won a trophy and he won the Community Shield and he's beaten Liverpool and he's beaten City and he's beaten Chelsea. So, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying to people, man. Just slow down a bit. Be critical. Have your opinion. I know me and you've been enough back and forth, but I know that you're not saying you want him out, but you're questioning things hard. Nothing wrong. I question things hard. When people say out, come on, man.
That's out's a little extreme, but I tell you something, Robbie. You'd be a great politician, you know. You'd be a great politician.
I'm not a matter of a politician. It's just like I'm just trying to be fair to the process, right? And I'm just also looking at saying how many. Well, we just keep chopping and changing manager. I feel that you have to give a manager a chance. Yeah. Right. You have to give a manager a chance, right? You know what I mean? And as I said, you know, is a lot of people jumping on Everton, and they stop.
When's it gonna end, Robbie? DT's famous saying to you, man.
1 point above us right now, as it stands in the league. Everton are 1 point above us. So let's not get too carried away. It's easy to look on other people. It's easy, you know. Easy, you know. Somebody was saying to me, yeah, Leeds, they're way better than us. They're this, they're that. Listen, we could lose to Leeds tomorrow. They're a very good side. But Leeds are actually below us at the moment in the table as well. We're above them. It's only 1 point.
But let's face it, we should be above them. They were in the Championship last season.
We should be. But I'm saying that the way I was chatting to someone the other day, the way they were picking up Leeds and saying that we should be Leeds, we should be that. I said, yeah, we're above Leeds. So, you know, honestly, this is why I'm saying to people, just take a look. Be a bit more objective with what you're saying. It's easy to just say out, out, out. But that's why I feel at this moment it's still early in the season. You know?
Obviously, when Arteta was appointed, I was very much. I mean, you said there you liked Allegri and Ancelotti. I wanted Mourinho. And you've bantered me a few times for this as well. I still stick to that, man. I didn't want Mourinho. Mourinho will come in and ruin up your club, man. And I just don't like, you know, Mourinho's not my guy, man. I don't want Mourinho at my club. You know what I mean? I'd rather go with Arteta and see what Arteta can do. Over Mourinho.
Over Mourinho, yeah. I think Mourinho, right, is done. I think if you look at Tottenham's last couple of games as well, right, again, it disguising up a few things, man. That game against West Brom, they were awful. They were so lucky, it was unbelievable. Won the game for a goalkeeping error. Right? Now, if we would have done that and we'd have been sitting second like Tottenham at the moment, probably people would be like, it was only an own goal. It was only, you know what I mean? So, as I said, it's still early in the season. It's still early in the season. And I think that Tottenham, a bit fortunate to be in second place. If you look at their last couple games. The game against Burnley again, that was another one. The one thing I give Tottenham, they got some very good. Their attack is firing, and their attack is getting them out of jail. Our attack is not firing, and then again going right back to what I was saying. This is what Arteta has to solve. It's a big test for him. He has to solve the problem of how do we get what I think is a very good attack.
Yeah.
How do you get that attack involved? How do you get Aubameyang? You can't have a game Aubameyang's had no shots. Tomorrow, Aubameyang, for me, has to play down the middle. I would drop Lacazette to the bench.
Yeah.
I would play Aubameyang down the middle. I'll put Saka on the left-hand side. I'll put Pepe on the right-hand side, right? That's what I would do. You cannot have your best striker having no shots on goal. That tells you that he's not getting any service. That tells you that even if he is getting service, he's in the wrong positions. I know he did it brilliantly last season, but that was last season. This season now, if we're not getting our best striker involved, we have to. And I remember when I saw Leicester play Leeds.
Yeah, they battered them.
And what they've done brilliantly is that they just defended very well, but then they break quickly, get the ball up quickly in behind to Jamie Vardy, and he absolutely terrorized Leeds back four. We got to deploy a similar tactic, I feel, against Leeds. Leeds are going to come at us, right? That's how they play. They're one of the most attacking teams in the Premier League, if not the most attacking team. They are going to come at us hard, right? And I just feel that, a good aggressive away performance, but moving the ball quickly and getting the ball up to the players that can hurt. And I just don't think this is the game for Lacazette. This is the game for Aubameyang down the middle. This is the game for a player like Saka. When we win that ball and get it up to those guys, that Pepe, this is the game for those type of players. I don't want us to be overly defensive, although I do think we're going to have to be sensible in our formation in that game. Because, we've got to respect Leeds, man. They're a good side.
Yeah, no, they are a good side. Do you know what? I think, I got to be honest, I still don't think Arteta is a better manager than Mourinho at this stage, but I think he can become a top manager, but obviously time will tell.
And Mourinho's been manager for years, right? And Mourinho's record, whether we like him or not, his record speaks for itself. It's an unbelievable record of winning trophies and stuff like that. But I just feel that, I would rather go with that up-and-coming manager rather than going back with the old stager like Mourinho and just his history at Chelsea and with Wenger and stuff like that. And plus as well, and I just don't think he's the same manager as he was in the past. I would much rather have Arteta over Mourinho, right? And as I said, Mourinho, I know people will say, well, look, Mourinho's going to be a year in charge, and he's in second place at the moment, right? At the moment, that is, right? But he didn't win anything in that year. That's what I was saying the other day to Expressions. I go, you told me when he come in, Trophy Mourinho. You ain't won no trophies yet. You ain't won anything, right? And you've got a good side. And you've got remember, Tottenham have had a more settled side. I mean, he's taken over a side that just got to the final of the Champions League, right? Arteta's not taking over a side like that. He was taking over a side in turmoil. Even at the moment, he's still in turmoil. Look at the whole Ozil situation and stuff like that. It's still, look how many players, right, are just sitting around, can't get in the team because obviously Arsenal, which again, I think a lot of this is coming from above, want them out. Look at where Socrates was playing yesterday for the under-23s. Look how many players they've got. I think there's Socrates, Kolasinac, Mavropanos even though he's on loan. I think Arsenal want to move him out.
Yeah.
Mustafi, despite the fact that you saw them trying to do a contract extension, I think the only reason they're trying to do a contract extension is to get more money for him. That's why he's rejected, right? They are. He's, he should be signing that. He's looking on it and thinking, no, you ain't going to play me. You really want to move me on. I'd rather move on for nothing. I get a better deal. So that's why he hasn't signed, right? People need to start. They want him out. Yeah? Right? They want him out. That's 4 players already.
Yeah.
Right? 4 or 5 players there in that team. I mean, Ozil as well, of course. that they want to move on. So, you know, whereas Tottenham's a more steady team. You know, they've got only really their situation with Dele Alli, but apart from that, it's more or less a steady team, isn't it? So, you know,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I will say this for Arteta. I think he's got a big job on his hands. I think the board should have probably backed him further in the transfer window. I think if you finish 8th and you spend 65, 70 million, whatever it was in the summer, I think we needed to go further than that. I think we needed that creative midfielder, that Aouar or somebody like that as well. So he has got a tough job on his hands. I just think he's making it more difficult for himself. As you said, sometimes he's overcomplicating it. I think every man and his dog can see Aubameyang needs to go central now. Pepe needs a run ahead of Willian. So if he's picking the right team and giving us more of a chance at winning games, I'll kind of be a little bit more patient with him. But some of the decisions have really baffled me at times. Like that Willian one at Manchester City was a bit crazy. But
Willian needs to be taken out of the, you know, he should be on the bench. And especially that Dubai thing that he's done.
yeah.
If he starts tomorrow.
I don't think he will.
If he starts tomorrow after each man went flying off to Dubai to chop up steaks, you know what I mean?
that's where we're at right now, bro.
Right, you know what I mean? He shouldn't. You know what I mean? Pepe has to start tomorrow, at least at the very least, or Reece Nelson or something. To me, Pepe.
It's got to be
Pepe. If Reece Nelson starts, it's like we're dissing Pepe. Pepe, we got to now trust in this guy. I know you can see Arteta don't really trust him. He thinks himself, you're going to try it, and which he does. He can be frustrating because he try and take on too many men and lose the ball. But I wanted to be brave with Pepe and say to Pepe, yeah, you know what? Go out there and do your thing, man. I trust in you. Go out there and change games. I think that's what needs to happen. He needs to start trusting in him more and give Pepe a chance in the team. Put Aubameyang down the middle and play Saka out. Saka has been probably our best forward player. You know, it's a big loss that Partey's out. You know, the man was never injured at Atletico. It comes to Arsenal, he's injured straight away. You know what I mean? This
typical, isn't it? Typical.
But you know, listen, Xhaka and Ceballos can come in there. Ceballos can show a bit of fighting spirit. Come down by David Luiz, you know, right?
Yeah, David Luiz, he's a bit bigger than Eddie and Nketiah, isn't he? It's not as easy to pick on him. I don't make that big a deal, man. I've seen that in dressing rooms I've even been involved in one or two, man. It happens.
Even at our level when we're doing AFTV FC, we've seen it. Man, people's faces and you know, it happens, man. It happens. Yeah. Somebody leaked it out. I mean, that's the thing.
That's the thing. Is it Mesut?
A lot of people are saying,
man?
You know, listen, man. I think Ozil's been treated quite badly. I'll be honest, right? You know, what I mean, I don't like how they've treated him. I don't. I think they could have gone about this Ozil thing differently. But I think, as I said, I think that's a decision up there, and hopefully they can move him on in January. I really like to see him move on, and you know, because at the moment it's looking embarrassing. This whole Mesut.
I think surely they've got to pay him up in January. Whatever's left on his deal, just give it him. I think it's worse having him at the club.
They're paying him anyway, and I just wondered to myself as well: is not playing him because if you play a player, you know, I was chatting to an agent the other day, and he said to me, Robbie, he goes, what people don't realise is lots of bonuses and that. He goes, people just say 350 grand a week, but he goes, no,
it's more than that.
Majority of contracts is there's lots of different things you got to hit to get to that level. So he's saying that probably by not playing him,
you're keeping money away from him.
Not getting certain incentives. He's not getting. I mean, you get players get things like when teams win, they get
a win bonus.
When you come on, you get money. You get. I mean, sometimes when you see in a football match and you'll see a manager bring a player on in the last minute, and people say, "What's the point in bringing him on for like 1 minute? How ridiculous!"
Probably getting 10, 20 grand for that 1 minute.
They're not actually dissing the player. They're bigging the player up because what they're doing is they're saying to him, "Go on and get your bonus because you trained well this week." No, I weren't able to get you on. straight away, or early in the game, go and get, I mean, it's a pat on the back to the player. So
yeah,
I think there's a lot more to that Ozil thing. Why he's been left out? I'd love to know.
yeah. I'm sure Ozil will spin it all.
And just say, yeah, come on, man, give me the what's happening. But I think they've got to move out Ozil. All of these things he's having to deal with. I mean, it can't be easy. Arteta having to deal with all these things.
I mean, look at this international break. The man's probably thought, right, 2 weeks, get on the training ground. You got Luiz and Ceballos having a fight. You got Willian salt baying in Dubai, and you got Aubameyang sleeping on the floor at the airport. He's going to turn grey soon, man.
Two players, El Neni, who's been playing well.
El Neni and Kolasinac, yeah.
He's out with COVID, and Kolasinac with COVID. You got Saka, who was probably only due to play one game, playing all 3 games playing for England.
Yeah.
Ahead of a very busy schedule for Arsenal. You know what I mean? It's not been a great international break. And then in all that time, Leeds has probably been running shuttles up and down the pitch in preparation for it. You know what I mean? And they've got, I think they've got Martin Phillips coming back, who's a quality player in midfield. Back. Yeah, so, but this is where Ceballos and Xhaka have to step up.
They have to
step up. You know what I mean? They have to. Partey only just come.
Yeah.
These guys have to. So it's them who played in the final. It's them who played.
Do you know what? Looking ahead to the game against Leeds, I feel I've bashed Arteta enough. This is the team that I would pick. I saw you on AFTV saying you'd probably stick with the 3 at the back. What do you think about this team potentially? What would you change? I mean, I like that team.
Yeah, that's not a bad team.
I don't think he will play 4 at the back.
I don't know if I'd drop Bellerin, because I don't. I know he got bullied. I know he got bounced off the ball in that Villa game, but up until that game, I thought he's been playing quite well this season. And every time I've seen Maitland-Niles come on, and when I see Maitland-Niles play in the Europa League, he's not impressed me, man.
No.
He's not played very well. And don't get me wrong, I like Maitland-Niles, man. But at this moment in time, to say that he's going to come in and do better, I don't know. I'd need to see a bit more of Maitland-Niles. So I'd probably still stick with Bellerin. I think, Xhaka, Ceballos. I think I'd change the formation a bit. My team, I'd go, obviously, Leno in goal. I'd have a back 3.
You'd go with the back 3, yeah?
I'm going with a back 3. I think, this is Leeds we're up against, a very, very attacking team. Yeah. And back 3s work well. I wouldn't experiment with the back line for this game. But in the back 3, I'd have Holding, Gabriel, and Luiz. Right? I'd have those 3. And then on my wing backs would be Bellerin and Tierney. Yeah. Right? Yeah. That's what I'd like to see. Xhaka and Ceballos in midfield. Right? Yeah. And up front, Saka, Pepe, and Aubameyang down the middle. That would be my team. Just because I think Leeds are such an attacking team. I saw the formation that Leicester and Wolves played against them. Both of them played 3 at the back. Both of them played that formation. Both of them were very successful. So I would stick with that for that game. I really would. And then that'd be mine. But there's not a lot of. I mean,
we haven't got many options, have we? Really? Like,
I mean, if you played that system that you've put there, I would have Willock in there. You know what I mean? Because I think he's a guy that gets forward and he scores goals. But I do feel that we're going to need to have a bit more stability at the back, and maybe that 3 at the back with Tierney and Bellerin tucking in, Xhaka tucking in as well, or that might help. Although we do know the problems with creativity, but then it's a matter of then getting the ball up quickly.
Yeah,
to Saka. I think Saka can do a great job out wide, taking on players and getting the balls in, cutting it back for Aubameyang in the middle, and then Pepe. Unleash Pepe, man. Let's see what Pepe can do. Give him a license to go out there and do stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I see a lot of people giving me stick about the Bellerin thing.
No, Bellerin for me, I'd pull him out. I think
I'm not a big fan of Bellerin, right? But he's not been the worst. If you be real, right, I think Tierney's been worse than Bellerin this season. You know? So far, Tierney. Yeah, I don't think Tierney's been. He's played well in some games, but I'd say if you analyse the games, I'd probably say that Bellerin's probably been a bit better. Although, to be fair to Tierney, where I don't like what's happened to Tierney is that he keeps having to play as a third centre off. So he's not played in his position. So maybe I'm being a bit unfair to Tierney because I really, really like Kieran Tierney. But I want to see him playing. I want to see him playing as a left back or a left wing back. Yeah. Not a third set. I know why he was playing there at one time because we had injuries. But I want to see him playing in his right position because he's a talented player, man.
Very.
He could be a future captain or whatever at Arsenal. I really like Tierney. And you saw the cross that he put in for
Scotland. Well, the one for Lacazette you're talking about. Yeah.
The one thing with Bellerin, he can't put a cross like that.
He can't cross at all. I said, can't blame Tierney. Imagine Bellerin playing centre back. It would be like Scalacci. You're right there, Jeff. You're right, and you can't really blame Tierney because he's been played out of position. That's what I'm saying. Get him in his right position, left back or left wing back. I'm just saying with the Ainsley thing, when Ainsley stepped in the Europa League, he'd been a bit sloppy, man. Yeah,
really, you know what I mean. He's not really been so.
I think, and the reason I think I was going Ainsley is because I feel he had a better link up with Pepe on that right than Bellerin and Pepe. But it is a tricky one. Rob Holding, not for me, Rob. They're calling him Rob Bolden in the comments now because the man's hairline's disappeared over the last few months. Holding for me now.
Played very well against Manchester United, was absolutely hopeless against Villa.
As most of them were, to be honest.
Yeah, and his problem is consistency. You can see one time he'll have a game and he's superb. Like I said, against Man United, he's solid. And then you see him have another game and you're like, oh, come on, man, what's up with this guy? That's his problem. He's too inconsistent. You play in the league, you want to be considered a top player, you got to be consistent. Like 90% of the games, you've got to play well. He's not doing that at the moment. So that's what I'd love to see Saliba given a chance.
Wouldn't we all? Looking at a January window coming up, obviously your daily transfer, daily famous will be back from January the 1st. Do you expect us to do any business in terms of transfers coming in?
Oh, coming in.
yeah. I don't mean no loans out. You know who's coming in.
I'm expecting quite a few players going out. Coming in. Yeah, I mean, we've been linked with that Sabosla or Sabloslai. Right, that could happen. That's a release clause.
I like him.
And yeah, good young player.
Good player.
That could happen. Knowing us, we'll probably go back out on loan again somewhere or something.
Yeah, exactly. Play under 23.
But you know, he could be coming in, and I still would like to see Awar. I don't think Awar will happen in January. Yeah, and I'd still like to see a goal scoring midfielder as well. I mean, we still need a lot. I don't think it's going to happen in January. I do think I think it's more going to be players being moved out. Yeah. January, you know what I mean? Socrates, I feel what will happen with Ozil, that's all going to pipe up again January. So there'll be more players on the way out, I feel, than, there'll be maybe a couple players coming. And remember, I'm absolutely hoping to see Martinelli back.
Oh,
as Arsene Wenger said, it could be like a new signing.
Yeah, his famous saying, yeah.
And then I think Pablo Mari's near to coming back as well now, they're saying. Yeah. And I want to see, a lot of people have written him off and we've only seen him play.
I know.
He played like 2 games.
Yeah.
The reports that I've always heard from when he was playing over in Flamengo is that he's a top quality centre back. Could he be a gem? I don't know. So I really want, I don't think we're going to do a lot in January. I really don't. I think the summer, that's when, because in the summer there's no more arguments with Ozil because he's gone. Contract
He's gone. Socrates gone.
Socrates gone. There's a 3-4 players that are going to be gone. There's going to be money available, and that's when I feel that we're going to see, you know, that's why I say next season, if he makes it that far.
If he does. So are you almost writing this season off then? Obviously, you're hoping for us to achieve something.
Not writing this season off. I still want to get into the top 4, and I still feel. Whilst I don't feel that, you know, probably we've got, if you say the 4 best teams on player for player, I wouldn't say we've got that. But what I would say is it's wide open for the top 4 this season. It would not surprise me if you see an unexpected team win the league or an unexpected team get into the top 4. You know, it's wide open. And there's a lot of very good teams, you know. Like, when I looked at Aston Villa the other day, I'm like, look at their midfield is actually better than ours.
It is. Yeah.
You know, Douglas Luiz is a top quality. I wanted him at Arsenal. I was like, I know a lot of people sleeping on that guy. He's a great defensive midfielder.
He looks good, man, yeah.
And then you've got Grealish. You know, you've got John McGinn. You've got, what's the name from... Barkley. That's a good midfield. That's a very, very good midfield. Right? So, you know, I mean, you look at Leicester's team. They've got some good. Leicester have got a lot of injuries at the moment, and they're still playing. Right? So there's a lot of good teams around, even teams like West Ham. Well, you know, I mean, they're good teams, good personnel. So I see some surprises. You know, as season goes by, it does always kind of...
It figures itself out, don't it, later on?
And as I always say, man, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Ask Leicester fans, right? For, you know, literally the whole season they were in the top 2. Yeah, they ended up finishing in the Europa League places. So,
yeah, man, it's wide open, and like you said, the fact that a team from outside the usual suspects can finish in the top 4 is almost why I'm putting the pressure on Arteta, because I'm looking at it going, anybody can get them top 4 places. I want us to be one of them teams.
I hear you on that. Because it is there. The chance is there for you to finish into the top 4. So yeah, I hear you. I 100% hear you on that. And we got to take advantage. We got to take advantage. You know, because it's wide open.
It is.
This week, without no fans, there's no home games no more.
Yeah, it's just a level playing field, isn't it?
Villa had no fear. I think
none.
A stadium full of fans, it's a different thing. When Palace went to Man United, they had absolutely no fear.
Nah.
They were just like, we're going to execute our game plan, and we weren't scared. And I think that's the thing when there's no fans. I mean, City today at Tottenham, that would have been a fever pitch.
Yeah, it would have been crazy, that would.
But now there's no one in there. All you're going to hear is Mourinho, right?
yeah, that's it.
You know, so you know, it's wide open. It is wide open, and let's hope we can do something. But I want us to have a little bit more patience with the
manager.
Let's see first. It's too early. It's 8 games. 8 games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want it to look like I've just hammered the guy the whole show. I think, you know, we can look at it. We're only 6 points off the top of the league. We need to get a little run together. I want to see a more settled team. I think when you look at the best teams, I think you can always predict their starting 11. You'll get maybe 1 or 2 wrong, but you'll get most of it. With Arsenal at the moment, it's like, I don't know what I'm going to see. You know what I mean? I don't know who's going to play where. I think it's
not just that. It's like the constant formation changes as well.
Yeah.
It seems to be confusing the players a little bit. As I said, away from home, I personally think that tomorrow's game is a bit of it's not an easy game, it's a tough game, but it's an easier one for Arteta to work out than when he plays Wolves at home next week.
Yeah.
You know?
The counter-attack works in them games away from home. I think it's at home when he has to dominate the ball and stuff is where he's struggling.
Struggling.
And as you said there, when we played Man United, then played Villa, it's like, even though we've beat Man United, playing like that, change things. It's a totally different game, a different team. You're going to have the ball. And I think you should be playing 4 at the back in them games.
Yeah, he got it horribly wrong against Villa. Horribly wrong. And, you know, let's see what he does tomorrow. You know.
Do you think a lot of the frustration with Arteta almost comes from what's happened previously, like with the old managers? I think Arsenal fans are very frustrated and have been like that for a number of years now.
I think it is that, but I also think that you said it right at the start of your show, that it's the style of football.
Yeah.
And I think because we're, I think sometimes when you lose a game and you battered the team and you lost, you can take that. But when you've not really, you ain't had no shots, you've been dominated, as a big club like Arsenal, you can't take those defeats. And those defeats really, really hurt. And that's what happened in the Villa game. We got dominated and we didn't lay a glove on them. And that's why you get really frustrated. And then I think it's just the thing that what added to the frustration of that is that we just put in a good performance the week before. Everybody was kind of up and thinking, right, let's beat Villa. We can really, we'd have been right in the top 4 now. And and then we go and lose in that fashion. Everything kind of, a lot of times with Arsenal, we'll get a string of results that go our way and then we never take advantage of it. Yeah. And I think people want to see now. I think the challenge for Arteta is this: go on a run. I think any team this season that goes on a run of, say, 10, 15 games where they've won the bulk of those and only, I think they've got a great chance of getting into the top 4. But we've got to go on a run now. The start of the season has been too big, start, stop. He needs to go on a run of games where, go like 5, 6 games unbeaten or something like that. We need to do that. There's been too many defeats, and I think that's a challenge to him as well.
What's your prediction for tomorrow?
I said 3-1, but I don't know. Whenever I keep thinking to myself, I'm like, where are we going to get 3 goals from? The way
we'll be lucky to have 3 shots.
But then I look at Leeds have actually in their last 2 games have conceded. They've lost 4-1 in both of them.
Yeah.
Right? So I'll stick to my 3-1, man. 3-1 or 3-2. But I think there's going to be goals in it. But I do think if we play the same sort of style that, I think the style of play that he's been playing away from home is going to suit this game.
Yeah.
Suit this game. But play Aubameyang down the middle, and I could see us beating Leeds. If we don't play Aubameyang down the middle, I'm going to be very disappointed tomorrow. If
I start seeing Eddie through the middle or, because Eddie used to play for Leeds.
I'm sorry, that's the other one that's been surprising me because, I like Eddie as a young player, but to me, come on, he play Aubameyang. Aubameyang is a natural goal scorer. Play him down the middle.
Has to.
Play him down the middle. You've got teams that will spend millions to have him playing down the middle for them. Why are we not playing him down the middle? I think these are the things where Arteta's going to get criticised. If he doesn't do that tomorrow and we lose the game, I'm under a lot of pressure.
I got one last question for you. Do you trust the process?
I trust the process at the moment.
Yeah.
That can change. We know that. This is, I always look at it and say you can't nail your thing to the post in football.
Nah.
I've seen, you can have a manager and he's blazing, and then he loses like 4 or 5 games in a row and people want him out. I've been around this football thing for so long, man. What I mean? I trust the process at the moment. I do believe he should get a chance. I do believe I can see what he's trying to do. He's making a lot of mistakes along the way, but at the moment, I trust the process. But we need to start getting some results now. We need to go on a run, as I said. Need to go on a run of games, and then that way he can get more people behind him trusting the process. If it keeps going on like this, people ain't going to trust it, and I naturally understand why people don't, because to trust the process, we need a bit more consistency.
Yeah. No, you're right. Well, for me, I think, we've just got to see a better style of football. He's got to adjust a little bit more to different teams. I think we want to see a bit more in the attack, and hopefully we get some results. Obviously, we got Leeds, Wolves and Tottenham next 3 games. So I think they're crucial games, Max. If he has a bad run there and Tottenham at the end of it, I think the pressure will really intensify. But if he does well, then I think, it will settle down for him.
Yeah.
So let's see what we can get.
It's all about winning games.
It's all about winning games, man. But yo, Robbie, I appreciate you coming on, bro. I'm gonna let you go. I know you got things to do. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
What you got coming up on AFTV? You watch along tomorrow.
Oh, watch along tomorrow, of course. You know, and yeah, hopefully we can be watching a big win.
We need to, man. Big up everyone in the comments. Go and subscribe to AFTV if you haven't already. Subscribe to Curtis Shaw TV. Hit a like on the video. I'll be back with a watch along tomorrow as well. Let's hope we get 3 points.